Hello my lovelies and welcome back to my channel. Today I am sewing a strike off for Hissy Fit Fabrics. I'm sewing their Haunted Mansion inspired vinyl, which is this one, and I'm also be sewing through my haul from Sincerely Jen. They had a sale a couple of weeks ago, so I went ahead and got myself a couple of patterns. So this is the first one I'm making from that stash, and this is the On a Break crossbody bag. So I went ahead and cut all the pieces. Most of them are vinyl from Hissy Fit, all interfaced with Geeky Fuse soft cotton from Wizardry Stitchery and Crafts. The only thing that I did not make in vinyl are the front pockets, the flap and the front pocket. I made these in a woven because this is actually my second attempt to film this video. I had one yesterday and it was a total flop. Everything that could go wrong was going wrong. So one of the things that was going wrong is me using a lot of vinyls for the pockets, and when you'll see when we get to creating the bottom part, you have to fold it and it was not looking pretty. So I highly encourage you to use woven or a thinner fabric for your pockets. This is actually a poly base that I sublimated with this image. It's not a panel from anywhere. I just used sublimation ink and I printed my own fabric, quote unquote. It's not printed, you sublimate on it. So this is going to be my flap and my bottom pocket, and these are the only ones that are woven, not vinyl. I'll be using all the hardware as always from Wizardry Stitchery and Crafts, and it's going to be an interesting mix of zipper and zipper tape because I've decided to go with most of my hardware to be antique gold, because I felt it went with the vibe of Haunted Mansion. So I had to scrape through my scraps of zippers to find, and I already lost it, to find a zipper with the antique gold coil, and I found just a little tiny scrap which is perfect for my front pocket. So the other pockets will have different colors, and you'll see as we go. So if this is something that you're interested in doing, or you just want to hang around with me while I sew a strike off and a new for me pattern, then stick around and keep on watching. We're going to start by creating the flap that has a cute zipper pocket in it. So for that, you're going to take your zipper, which in my case is 8 inches long because I'm using zipper by the yard, and you're going to sandwich this zipper, one of the zipper ends, in between the lining and the main zipper ends. These are pattern pieces in the pattern itself, and you're going to stitch those down with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. This pattern does follow a 1/2 inch seam allowance for most of the steps. And of course you're going to be doing the exact same thing on the other side. So for the other zipper end, take your main and place it right side down, so it's right side together with the zipper. Then your lining piece, right sides together with the main for the lining, and you're going to stitch it down just like you did before. Beautiful. Now I'm going to flip them so they're wrong sides together, both ends, and top stitch. So flipping it like so and top stitching. It's a pretty cute and looks spacious crossbody, but it has that super cute front pocket that makes it different from all other crossbodies I've seen. I'm actually using the Wizardry Stitchery and Craft Tex 80 thread in my bobbin. This is the black in my bobbin and in my needle. It's just a solid black. So this is what your zipper will look like. Make sure you have your zipper pull in it. If you have a preference on how you want your zipper pull to open, decide that now, because I honestly don't have a preference, so I don't care. I just randomly put it in. I think mine will open from right to left. It really doesn't matter to me, but some people do have a preference. Okay, so take your main piece. This is a poly woven interfaced with cotton Geeky Fuse woven, and you're going to place these right sides together like so and stitch it down. Make sure that the raw edges match. Okay, move your zipper pull away. I am a big fan of rainbow hardware. However, sometimes I feel like the pattern, the print calls for some different color hardware, and that's why I used antique gold. I feel with Haunted Mansion it would go nicely together. Okay, so then you want to place your lining. You see you have 3 lining pieces. Make sure you grab the short one. These are a little taller, so grab your short lining piece, place it right sides together with the main, and go ahead and stitch. I'm going to stitch along the previous stitching line. Let's move the zipper tab. Gorgeous. Okay, so first part is done. I'm going to flip this so it's wrong sides together. If you can, give it a good press. And then I'm going to go ahead and top stitch along this side. About 1/8 of an inch away from the folded edge. I need to be better at remembering to increase my stitch length for top stitching. I tend to forget that, and it does look better if your top stitch is a longer stitch. But you also need to remember to put it back when you, for construction purposes, because a shorter stitch will give you a better hold. Okay, so let's add the magnetic snap right now, and I just want to remember where it goes. Okay, it goes 1.25 inches up, or you can use your pattern piece to mark it, to mark the placement. So now we have 2 of the bigger flaps left, so take one of them and mark 1.25 inches up from the fold, from the bottom, sorry. Okay, so I've marked this with my friction pen, and now I'm going to take a washer, put the washer circle center where I have my marking, and mark the two sides for the slit. Okay, so now with my seam ripper I'm gonna go ahead and mark and cut those two slits. You can see them. Okay, and place my nail magnetic snap. These are also from Wizardry Stitchery and Crafts. I don't have them in the gold finish, but I do have them in this rose gold, so it will do. In a pinch it will do. I just want to put two slits in a little piece of Decoville Heavy, a scrap, just to add extra strength. And then you're gonna go ahead. Oops, I forgot my washer. Don't skip your washer. There it is. Add your washer too. And then fold it down. And there you go. The magnetic snap is added, and I love how thin this is. See how thin it is? Okay, so now we're going to make a pretty sandwich. For this sandwich, you're going to place your lining pocket without the snap, so this one, the one with no snap. You're going to place this wrong side up. Then you're going to place the one with the snap wrong side down, so the wrong sides together. Like so. And then you're taking this one and you're placing it right sides down. This way your flap, the front of the flap with the zipper, and your snap are right sides together. So I'm gonna do that again. No snap right side down, with snap right side up, main panel right side down. And this is going to basically create right now kind of like a French seam. If you sew garments, you know a French seam is usually created in this way. So this is pretty much what will happen right now. So putting a couple of clips in place, and I will stitch it down. With a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Make sure you back stitch, oops, and you turn your stitch lower. Back stitch at the beginning and at the end. Okay, now your seam allowance is rather thick, so what you want to do is go ahead and trim it to about 1/8 of an inch. This will help you when you create that French seam that I was talking about, because you're basically enclosing the raw edge of the seam in the top stitching. So we're going to cut this at about 1/8 of an inch without snipping your stitches, and then we're going to top stitch with 1/4 of an inch, so it will enclose this raw edge. Okay, so this is what it looks like right now. I'm going to turn it from like so. Oh, no, I'm going to turn it from, let me remember, how did I turn it? Oh, no, like this. So I'm going to turn it like so. So from the part with the print. Okay, push your edges out. Oh, I should have done my graphic a little smaller. No big deal, it's my bag. Okay, and now we're going to top stitch this with 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. This way we'll be enclosing the raw edge that we have in here, inside here. This one will be enclosed. Okay, so 1/4 of an inch. Go slow, especially where the curve is, to make sure you keep a constant seam allowance. And now I'm also going to go ahead and baste the zipper closed right here. Okay, so your flap is ready. Let me remove the excess that I have right here. Okay, so it should look something like this right now. Okay, and the magnetic on the back, and then it's a functional zipper right here. And this inside has no raw edges right now because they're all enclosed in the top stitching. Okay, so we are done with the flap. Let's move on to the front pocket. For the front pocket, you should have one exterior. The front pocket is the one that has the darts, and one lining. Let's go ahead and add first the magnetic snap to the center of this panel. So now I'm going to find the center, or I can use, oops, not this one. This one is for the main. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark 3 inches down from the top. 3 inches down is right here, where my bride's hair ends. Okay, so this is where my magnetic snap will be. And we're going to do the exact same thing we did before. I'll put my washer. And do the slits. Okay, and on the back I'll add a piece of Decoville Heavy as well. These are these magnetic snaps. I got them from yesterday's project that I told you was a big fail. So I took my hardware off before I trashed it. So that's why they looked used, because they were used yesterday. But I didn't want to throw it with my hardware on. Okay, so now that I have that on the outside, take your washer, take your Decovil Heavy, okay, and there you go. My little bride has a magnetic snap. Okay. What we're gonna do right now is create those darts. So we're folding along that snip, and we're going to stitch with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. On all 4 sides. We're going to create like a 3D cargo pocket here. If it's easier to draw your seam allowance before, definitely do that. I have my marking here, so I just follow that marking. I don't need to draw it. And once again, I realized I didn't move my seam stitch length, but it's okay, it's just for the darts. Okay, so if you didn't mark it, just make sure you line it with your 1/2 inch seam allowance marking, and you keep going straight until you reach the end. The end, I mean that fold. So this is what it will look like. Even though your snip ends here, the stitch ends right here when you follow the seam allowance. Okay, so we're going to place these 2 pieces right sides together, like so. And I like to fold my seam allowances opposite way to reduce bulk. My lining, if I haven't mentioned it yet, is waterproof canvas for the whole project because I didn't want to interface anything. And when I use waterproof canvas, I don't have to interface it. Okay, so now we're going to start stitching from about here. And we will leave an opening at the top. Oops. 1/2 inch seam allowance. And we'll go all around. try your best to keep the seam allowance constant. Okay, so I'm leaving an opening right here at the top to turn this. Like so. You can see it better on the white. There. And now let's go ahead and clip the corners so we get nice crisp corners when we're turned. I'm also going to remove the excess seam allowance along the curved edge that we've sewn. I'm leaving it a little less than 1/4 of an inch right now. Okay, and for this side, what I like to do, I snip a little bit, but don't go all the way in. This is what I like to keep it. Okay, and then we're going to turn. And using your favorite poking device, I like this boning tool from my Cricut. I just poke out the corners. And I'm not going to top stitch quite yet. I just need to make sure first that all the seams are out properly. So run your turning tool along the seam, like so. Okay, so on the back of the, if you're able to give it a good press, go ahead and give it a good press right now. I'm just closing it here temporarily with snips. Okay, so now on the back, you want to find the center. And it is here. So it's about 12 inches when you fold it. So this is my center, about 6. So now on each side of that center marking, this is my center marking, on each side you're going to draw 2 lines that are 2 inches on either side. So that is 2. And that is 2. And let's go all the way up. Okay, so now you're going to fold the right sides along that stitch, along this marking that you made. You're going to make a fold just at that marking. It does come all the way to the other fold, I believe, to the other marking right here. And you're going to top stitch about 1/8 of an inch away. Okay. So this is what it looks like with one fold done. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So where you have your marking done, you're going to go ahead and fold. And it will pretty much reach the other fold line. Okay, and we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to top stitch with about 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. My bobbin thread and my needle thread match, so I don't care. But if you have a specific bobbin thread or a specific needle thread that you want featured, make sure that you stitch with that side up like this. Okay, so now I'm going to open it, and we're going to do 2 more markings, 2 inches away from each of these folds. We're going to mark one more time. Okay, so 2 inches from each of these folds. It's kind of like right here. Okay, so what we're going to do is, working from the right side, we're going to bring that fold in, the orange line here. We're going to fold it to match this, so this orange line to match the fold right here. Okay, and I'm going to put a clip at the top. And this is where, if you use vinyl, things are getting a little more complicated, because it's too thick at this point with all the layers. Okay, so same thing, I'm going to add a couple of clips at the bottom and show you how it looks like. Okay, so I'm doing this same step on this side. So see my orange line? That's 2 inches from this one. I'm folding this in and bringing my fold line right here. I'm putting 2 clips right here at the top, and this is the moment where we'll be top stitching and closing the opening here at the top. So here is what it looks like from the front. Here is what it looks like from this side. And I'm going to go ahead and top stitch the top part only right now. Go slow where you have all those layers. So yeah, I wouldn't use vinyl for the pockets. We can use vinyl for the rest of the bag, but not for these pockets. Okay, so now the opening is closed right there. We're going to take the front piece and lay this down. I'm just melting the ends so they look a little prettier. Okay, so take your front piece, which is the okay, this is the back. Oh no, this is it, the smaller one. So for this one, you want to go ahead and place your pocket 3 inches, I believe. Let me double check. Oh no, 1.5 inches down from the raw edge. Okay. So again, we're working with the shorter panel right now, and we're going to measure 1.5 inches from the raw edge. Okay. This is where that line goes. And right now, let's go ahead and do a test run of the new, well, I'm actually testing it, so we'll see if it's going to be the new Wizardry Stitchery and Craft water-soluble double-sided tape. I am, you know, I'm a huge fan of their double-sided tape. Like, I can't live without it. I have to have it at all times. So when Melissa said we need to bring in water-soluble too for people who use double-sided tape in garment making, I said, okay, we'll do that, but I want to test it, and I'm going to be brutally honest with you because I adore the one that they offer. It's so strong. I don't want to have anything that doesn't hold as good as that one. So this is the moment of truth. You saw me opening the package right in front of your eyes. So I went with the 1/8 of an inch right now, and I'm going to stick it along the edge and see if I like how it performs. I'm looking for stickiness first and foremost. I'm looking for hold. Okay, and this one it got unstuck too quickly, but maybe I also opened it too quickly. Okay, let's see. And I'm also going directly with the 1/8 of an inch, with the 1/8 of an inch, because this one is the hardest one. Like, if there's one that would be less sticky, it would be this one because of its width. So we'll see. Okay, open up the sides and let's go ahead and center it And I know based on the pattern that I've used where my center is. But I will double check it after I stick it down. Okay, so this is it. A little crooked. Okay, let's see how you perform. Okay, it stays. And that's one of the tests. Now the gumming up test is my second trial. And I will test the other ones too, don't worry. But for now, so far so good. So now I'm basically stitching with an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, so I'm kind of catching the double-sided tape in my seam. This way I know if it gums up my needle, and so far so good. It's not gumming up my needle, so I like that. Yeah, everything looks clean, so that's a plus. We'll keep on testing the other ones, and I'll also check the water solubility afterwards. Because see, I have a little corner here left. I'm gonna check to see how it disappears when I put water on it. Okay, so the front pocket is done, and let me take this protection off. And there you have it. This is how we're going to stitch down the top. I like to have my snap there just to hold it in place, and then I add a couple of snaps. You want to take your top piece, which is kind of like a rectangle, this one, that's gonna go right here, right sides together. Make sure you put your zipper pull away. Okay, and we're going to stitch it down. And at this point, you have completed what I think to be the most difficult part of this pattern. The rest is pretty easy and straightforward, and techniques you've used before. This front panel is the only thing that's different. Okay, so I'm going to top stitch now with the seam allowance going up, okay? you have it. Your front piece is done. Flap done. Pocket ready. And see here you can put like excuse me, little IDs or stuff. So okay, set that aside and let's work on the inside lining right now. Okay, so let's start working on the inside pocket, the one that will help us when we flip the bag. I am going to skip the back pocket, back outside pocket, because I don't have enough of the vinyl left and I don't want to put a different print on the back. So, and I already have the front pocket. So keep that in mind, I'm skipping that. But the pattern designer does have her own video for this. And as always, my videos are not meant to replace the designer's videos. So definitely watch her video linked in the pattern if you're interested in sewing steps that I have not shown here. So I went ahead and did my markings on the pocket, on the wrong side of the pocket. So now I'm going to place this pocket an inch down from the top and center it. So this is 11, that means 5.5, it's here, the center. Okay, so I'm placing this an inch down and I'm going to sew that box just like we always do for this kind of welt pocket on the inside. You can't really skip this pocket because this is the pocket through which you'll be turning your bag, so you kind of need it. And for this I'm going to be using size 3 zipper by the yard. If you only have size 5, that's fine too. But Wizardry does carry size 3 as well. And this is from them. So you want to go ahead and do that slit in the front and the Y's, like I call them, at the end. So I'm cutting through both of them, stopping about 1/2 inch away from each side and doing my pocket snips as close to the edge, as close to the corners as you can possibly get it. So now I'm flipping this. So the wrong sides together, the pocket bag and the lining. If you're able to give this a good press, go ahead and do that. I'll give it a little finger press here. So this is what it looks like from the inside, and this is from the outside. Again, if you're using cotton woven, definitely give this, or any woven, give this a good press. Okay, my number 3 zipper tape with a number 3 zipper pull. So I'll test this out again. This is the 1/8 of an inch zipper helper double-sided tape. This is again a water-soluble one. This is more comparable to Wonder Tape, because Wonder Tape is water-soluble. At first glance, I will stick with the non-water soluble for bag making, but this does have good stickiness to it. So if you're more into garment sewing and you need your double-sided tape to be water soluble, I think this is a very good option. Okay. So place your zipper centered in the zipper opening. I like it. It is definitely comparable to the Wonder Tape. Okay, so this is what it looks like on the outside. We're going to start stitching all the way around, and this will also create your zipper stops. Definitely the double-sided tape is not gumming up my needles. No problem whatsoever. So big plus there. And it sticks very well. So this is what it will look like right now from the outside. And this is from the wrong side. You're going to go ahead and place your pocket right sides together, like so. Put a couple of clips, and we're only going to stitch around the side, the top, and the other side. We're not going to stitch the bottom. This is what we'll be using to turn our bag. Okay, so this side, and this side. Actually, I like to fold my ends half an inch towards the wrong side. This will again help me when I close this pocket. Make sure you don't catch the lining. Away. We're only sewing through 2 layers, the pocket ones. Okay, I'm folding this like so. Beautiful. So this is what I was talking about. I folded my lining like a memory hem when I stitched it. You can see it on the sides. Okay, let's set that aside for now, but don't forget to open your zipper all the way so we don't forget later on. Okay, next up we'll be working on the main zipper, and for that you need your 4 zipper panels. No, these are the thin ones, and your main zipper. And right now let's put the 1/2 inch soluble to the test. I promised you I would give you a fair feedback. So see, I haven't even opened them. I just left them the way Melissa sent them to me. So for this one, you should have 4 rather thin pieces. I'm going to go ahead and add double-sided tape to each of the ends because we will need to fold them 1/2 inch, and this will keep it in place. So this is what I'm going to do 8 times. Okay, and I'm placing it to the wrong side of the zipper panels. For my main zipper, I have an 11-inch piece of zipper tape that has the Nightmare coils, but I've added the antique gold skull to match my other zipper. I just didn't have any more antique coil zipper tape, and I'm learning to be flexible. I'm trying to be flexible and practice what I preach. I always preach to use what you have, and since I had that, I'm going to use it. Okay, let's see. You want to fold this 1/2 inch, all the sides. That sticks. I find that when I try to peel the paper, the non-soluble one peels a little easier, meaning this one tends to try to get unstuck from the base. But I think if I just press it better, it's not gonna have that issue. Yeah, see, it was me, it wasn't the tape. Just make sure you press your tape well, so when you take the paper off, there is no issue with it unsticking. So yeah, it's not the tape, it was me. Again, press, take the paper off. Okay. Okay, thumbs up for the 1/2 inch too. Okay, pieces are already here. Now, one of the zipper ends will have to have an ending. So I think I'm gonna do this gold, or is it too much? No, I think it works. This gold zipper end from Wizardry. So for that, take one of the ends, fold your tape, at least that's how I put it. I fold my tape towards the zipper like so and slide it in. All the way in. You can create your own zipper ending, or you can use like one of those tags that Mormino has. And now you'd want to screw it on. I just need to go find my little screwdriver, because I don't know where it is. So for now, this will have to do. Well, I had some snips that used to work well on this one, to screw this one on. You need a little screwdriver. Don't be like Alex. But I don't know where my little screwdriver is, so I'm using this instead. Okay, so I am noticing right now that the double-sided tape is getting unstuck from the waterproof canvas. So it might be that it does not like the stiffness of the waterproof canvas. That could be it. So this is the zipper end, it's done. See, they all started peeling. So I'm going to go ahead and say a no for waterproof canvas for this tape, because I need it. If it's my helping hands, I need it to stick. So I would only use this for garment making. So if you need it for like collars, for hem, for fabric that is not super stiff. Because see, this one, like a few minutes in, it started to get unstuck. So, and you don't want that. It does stick, you can see, but this fabric is thick and it puts a lot of pressure on it. So because of that, I'm pretty sure. Oh, I put it in the wrong side. Great. Yeah, I put my zipper end on the wrong side. Make sure you put your zipper end in the correct side. Alright, crisis averted. I moved my zipper ending from one end to the other, so you want to make sure that the zipper end goes in the end of the zipper. Alright, so yeah, getting back to the double-sided tape, if you're using it for waterproof canvas like I'm trying to right now, it is definitely time dependent. So you would need to make sure that you stitch this down quickly, because you can see it doesn't last forever. So like I said, I would probably keep it just for garment making, so not with fabric that has a lot of tension to it and thick and like heavy. It is not a bad tape, but like I said, I'm going to give you honest feedback. I definitely love the non-soluble one much better, for bag making at least. Okay, so what you want to do is create your zipper end here by folding at a 90-degree angle and stitching. This will hold it in place when you put it in the zipper panels. It doesn't have to be a perfect stitch, because this will go in the zipper panel. Okay, same thing on the other side. This is what it looks like. now grabbing your panels, place them right sides down from, I'm trying to see if there's a certain amount that needs to be away from the edge. So right now you're going to sandwich your zipper tape about 1/2 inch away from the edge, like so, in between two right sides together panels. Okay, make sure all raw edges align. So you should have 3 layers right now. The zipper and the 2 panels with the edges folded. And stitch it down with about a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, we'll repeat the exact same step on the other side. So right now this is how it looks like. So with the folded edge, place your zipper tape 1/2 inch away from the edge. Aligning the raw edges. Okay, and then place your last one, again keeping the edges folded. And stitch it down. It helps to have the zipper pull all the way to the back, so you don't have to worry about it. Okay. So now what you want to do on both sides is take your zipper ends, your zipper panels, fold them right sides together, like so. And you're going to top stitch all around. All around each of the zipper panels. I'll pin them first and then stitch them. So you can see how they look like. Okay, I've pinned them so you see how they look like. The two zipper tabs. So I'm going to stitch all around the two rectangles. With an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. On the raw edge you can baste it if you want instead of sewing it, because that will be enclosed in the lining. I feel it's more hassle to change my stitches for baste than to actually do a regular stitch. Okay, one is done. And the other one. So your zipper panel is ready. We're going to attach this to the lining pieces. This is what it looks like after you finish stitching it. So grab your lining pieces. You have one with a pocket, one without, and then you also have two top ones. One, two. Okay, so this is my top ones. This will come in between. So you want to make sure that you find the center before you pin it. Okay. And you're going to place the wrong side of the zipper to the right side of the bottom panel, like so. Pin it in place. Okay, 3/8 for this one. And then you're going to place the top right side down and stitch through all the layers. So right now the way it looks is you have your right side of the top facing the right side of the zipper, and then the wrong side of the zipper facing the bottom part, and stitch it with a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. So now you want to top stitch up your seam allowance. repeat the same steps for your other side. So again, right side up, find the center, and the center, and match them. Okay, and then this side, right side down, and sew through the little sandwich. From one end to the other. Okay, top stitch up. And these steps are done. Since we have the lining already here, this is what you should have: the zipper panel and then two linings like so. Okay, since we have the lining here, you might as well just go ahead and get your zipper, gusset piece, and find the center. On both sides, and then I'm going to mark the center of my bottom right here with a little snip. Same thing on the other one. Okay. And right now, right sides together, you're going to match one of the linings to your gusset. First the bottom center and then the sides, like so. Make sure that the zipper is away. So once you've matched the sides, you can go ahead and pin all around, and then stitch with a little over a ½ inch seam allowance. The pattern does follow a ½ inch seam allowance, but because you want the lining to stay nice and stretched inside, using a little over a ½ inch seam allowance will help with that. And where I have my curves, I'm snipping a little bit to help with the position of the gusset. My snips are definitely smaller than the seam allowance. Don't snip too much. I'm going to stitch all around it. going to trim the excess seam allowance, add the same way I did this one at my other panel, and be right back. Okay, the lining is done. I finished both sides. This is my pocket. Make sure that the pocket is not caught in the seam allowance. Leave the zipper wide open, both zippers wide open. Trim the seam allowance, that's done, and set it aside for now. Let's add the connectors for the D-ring. So you have two connector pieces right now that look like this, and you want to fold them 1/2 inch towards each side. And let me test now the 1/4 inch. This is the last one that I haven't checked. I usually would use 1/2 inch for this, but I want to use the 1/4 inch just to test it out. I feel like this is a little thicker than the other ones, or maybe it's in my mind. Okay. So you want to fold this 1/2 inch inside on both sides. Okay, and then slide your D-ring. These are again from Wizardry Stitchery and Crafts. In it, like so. It looks like it's holding the vinyl better than it did the waterproof canvas. Okay, so now I'm just going to do one line of stitching, and then I'll rivet the rest. At the end, I'm going to add a couple of rivets to this for extra strength. Okay, so this is what it looks like, and I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Again, fold. Oops. I like the 1/4 inch best so far, or maybe because I also used it on vinyl, not waterproof canvas, but it feels a little thicker than the 1/2 inch. But it could be just me. And your D-ring. Slide it through, fold it, and then do one line of stitching. I mean, you can do the whole thing. I will do just one line. If you don't want to rivet it, what you can do is just add 2 more lines of stitching on the side. Okay. So now you want to take your gusset, the outer gusset, and place your D-rings in the center, like so. I like mine to stick out just a tiny bit. Just for added strength. I feel they hold better if they stick out just a little bit. They're not edge to edge. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Again, center it right here and stitch it down. So now what you should have on each side is 1/2 inch, which is the seam allowance for this pattern. So now you're going to be stitching on this side and on this side, and that's 1/2 inch. Okay, let me find the center like we did before on both sides. Okay. And your main, so you should have a front with this pocket, and then you should have a back, which in the pattern does have an additional pocket here. I don't have one, so I'm just going to place my handmade tag here. Just to add a little something on it. And this is the center of the back. Okay. And the center of my tag. Just like we added magnetic snaps earlier. And I will also add a little bit of Peltex on the back. Some scrap of Peltex here just for that reason. And I also apparently write my notes on Peltex. Usually I write what I'm running out. If it's something that I use all the time, I write it here so I know when I place my next wizardry order. I know this one I already got. Okay, so this is the back of the bag now. Let's find the center, and I know the center because I've used the pattern as my guide. So the center is right here at this little vertical line. And same thing, no, this one is the center of the thicker one. Okay, there we go. Let's start with the back. It doesn't make a difference because my pattern is like works on both sides. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch this down exactly like I did with the lining. So I'll do my snips and I'll stitch all around with a with a 1/2 inch seam allowance, both of them, exactly like I did for the lining. So I will do this off camera because this video is getting to be very long, and I will meet you back here to finish the assembly of the bag. So again, I'm stitching all around, placing this right side down, stitching all around, and be right back. Alright, so the bag is sewn on the main part is sewn. This is again just vinyl interfaced with woven interfacing, the Geeky Fuse Cotton Soft. And I've trimmed the seam allowance just like I did before. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn this right side out. And stick it in the lining. Check if you have any preferences where you want the pocket to be. Like if you want the pocket on the lining to be on the back or on the front. I prefer mine to be on the back, especially since the front already has a pocket on the outside. So I'm going to push these seams out and stick this in with the back towards the pocket. Make sure all the zippers are open. So this way, these are right sides together. Matching the side seams, I will pin them in place. And I will stitch all around the opening with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Almost there, almost there. It's not a difficult project. It just has more steps because of that cute pocket, but that's what makes it even cuter than your regular crossbody, right? So I'm going to sew, like I said, with a 1/2 inch seam allowance all around the opening. If you're able to, just go a couple of times on your connector to make sure it stays secured. So this is done. I will go ahead and trim my seam allowance a little bit because it's pretty big. And then we're going to turn the bag through the pocket opening. So your pocket opening is right here. That's why I said to make sure all your zippers are open. So I'm just going to put the main now out. First. One of my favorite things to do is birthing a bag. To see it come to life. Gorgeous. And there's a little creasing on this vinyl, so I will try to steam it a little bit with a cloth. And now the lining. double check that all the seams look good before you close the pocket. And once you're sure that everything looks proper, you can go ahead and stitch your pocket closed. Let's close this pocket. I'm sewing with 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. And because I've pre-folded the corners, this is much easier now to sew and stitch. To sew and close. Okay. Let's top stitch now the opening, and then we'll create the strap. And I'm using my backstitch webbing for that because it glows in the dark, and it's going to be very pretty for this style bag. So let's put the lining aside. Top stitch at the recess zipper. So pretty! It is going to look so cool with my dress. I have a dress from this exact print that I made for strike-offs. Oh, and actually the dress that I'm wearing now, the Sinclair Zoe, is made with bamboo from the same round. So if you like my dress and you want to get some apparel fabric or vinyl in this print, it's available with the pre-order with this one. Make this a little rounder. Okay, so keeping the zipper away, go ahead and top stitch all around. My bobbin thread matches my needle thread, so I don't mind top stitching from the inside. If yours doesn't and you want to make sure that your bobbin is on the inside, then you want to do is turn your bag and top stitch with the lining towards your bed of the machine. Almost there. Okay, the main bag is done. If you're making your own strap, follow the instruction in the tutorial or the designer's YouTube video, I am using pre-made webbing to make my strap. This way I can reuse it with other prints as well, since it's a neutral strap. But the bag looks so good. I did. If you're a fan of the Haunted Mansion ride, you know what this refers to. Okay, so I have my webbing. This is the back stitch, glow-in-the-dark webbing. And I have my zipper ends. I cut my webbing about 56, I believe, inches long. So on one end, I'm going to put a 1-inch swivel clip, fold half an inch inside, and then fold 1 inch like this, and stitch it down. Again, you can also rivet it if you want. I have so many snips, and when I need one, I don't find it. Oh, and I realized I left my stitch length too long. But it's okay because I'm probably ended up putting a rivet anyways. Okay, so let's take the other side. Seal in your ends. And I'm taking a slider because it's I'm making this adjustable one, pushing it through one side down, and then your ring like this, your swivel clip, sorry, through the end, and then I'm bringing the end again, left up, right down, and in here I'm going to try to fold half an inch and then top stitch right in here. Making sure that all other hardware is out of the way. So you have your adjustable strap done, your bag is done. All you have left to do right now is enjoy your amazing on a break custom made bag. So this is my strap, and it's adjustable and it glows in the dark. So when I plan on going to the Boo Bash, which is probably similar to what used to be the not so scary Halloween party. This year is going to be called Boo Bash because it's probably going to have quite a few restrictions. But I am ready. I have my dress ready, I have my bag ready, so I am excited. Thank you so much for joining me in sewing this on a break crossbody strap. Again, the vinyl that I used is available for pre-order right now from Hissy Fit Fabrics. The webbing is from Backstitch Print. This one was a pre-order, but it will probably have retail at one point when pre-order starts. All my hardware and interfacing is from Wizardry Stitchery and Crafts, and the lining is waterproof canvas from Amazon. I hope you enjoyed this little cute fun project, and if you did, give me a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing and turning on the notifications so you can keep up to date with all my new videos, and I will see you back here in my next one. Bye!